You know, when Ruger sets out to build a revolver, they aren't just making another handgun, they're practically forging a tank in disguise. And the GP100 stands as undeniable proof. But hold on a second. If you thought this beast of a revolver was all brawn and no brains, you've got another thing coming. Ever heard that the GP100's lineage traces back to a French police sidearm? Or how about the time Smith Wesson playfully likened it to a thick burger patty? In today's video, we're diving deep into what truly makes the GP100 a serious contender, even a heavyweight champion, in the revolver world. We'll unpack the story behind its legendary ability to eat .357 Magnum like candy, see how it measures up against its rivals, and reveal the surprising places where this powerhouse is still serving with honor today. Plus, we're going to get up close and personal with its innovative triple locking cylinder, its rock-solid no-side plate frame, and explore why some shooters absolutely swear by it, while others, well, let's just say they find its looks a tad challenging. So, if you're a die-hard fan of the GP100, or just someone who appreciates a revolver built to last an eternity, you'll definitely want to stick around. Trust me, there's a whole lot more to this gun than initially meets the eye. Ruger had already carved out a solid reputation for crafting incredibly tough single-action revolvers. When they unveiled the Security 6 back in 1972, this double-action wheelgun was Ruger's bold stride into the world of law enforcement, a realm where giants like Smith and Wesson and Colt had long reigned supreme with iconic models such as the Model 19, the Model 66, and, of course, the legendary Python. The Security 6 quickly garnered accolades for its straightforward design, incredible durability, and its surprisingly accessible price point. A standout feature was its robust single-piece frame, a significant departure from the multi-piece side plate designs commonly found on other revolvers of the era. Agencies like the U.S. Border Patrol adopted it, and numerous city police departments followed suit. Even if Smith & Wesson still held the lion's share of the market, Ruger's foray into 9mm variants of the Security 6 also turned heads, particularly since most revolvers at the time stuck firmly to the .38, Special and .357 Magnum cartridges. However, despite its decent handling of that .357 Magnum, the Security 6 wasn't truly engineered to withstand an endless barrage of the hottest loads. This inherent limitation ultimately pushed Ruger to think bigger and build even stronger. By the early 1980s, Ruger had a clear mission: to engineer a revolver that could truly live on a steady diet of .357 Magnum, without ever showing signs of shaking loose. The grand result of this ambitious undertaking was the GP100, which made its debut around 1985. They didn't just tweak things, they supersized them. The frame became noticeably thicker, the top strap was beefed up considerably, and the cylinder was ingeniously designed to lock in no less than 3 places, a significant upgrade from the usual 1 or 2. That chunky underlug wasn't merely there for aesthetics. It played a crucial role in balancing the revolver and effectively taming recoil. Anyone familiar with the Security 6 immediately recognized that the GP100 was heavier, looked more substantial, and just exuded an aura of unbreakable confidence, making you believe it could easily digest full-house Magnums for a lifetime. Ruger also wisely carried over their signature transfer bar safety system, a feature many shooters consider absolutely crucial for peace of mind. Here's how it works. If the trigger isn't deliberately pulled, that transfer bar simply stays out of the way, effectively blocking the hammer from ever contacting the firing pin. This ingenious design has undoubtedly prevented countless accidental discharges, a true blessing, especially for those who routinely holster and carry with the hammer down on a loaded chamber. The clever use of coil springs, the remarkably easy-to-remove trigger group, and that overarching built-like-a-tank philosophy all combined to ensure this revolver was no fleeting experiment. It was engineered for the long haul. The Security 6 wasn't just the spiritual ancestor of the GP100, it also gave birth to some lesser-known, yet equally fascinating, siblings across the ocean. In the late 1970s, French law enforcement found themselves in need of a reliable, yet cost-effective, wheel gun for their daily duties. Their domestically produced MR-73, while excellent, was simply too expensive for widespread issuance. The answer came in the form of a brilliant alliance with Ruger, which ultimately led to the creation of the Manurian Special Police. These revolvers were meticulously crafted, using Security 6 frames and Ruger's renowned lockwork, then expertly fitted with French-made barrels and cylinders. They served with unwavering reliability in various French police units. This initial success prompted Manurian to further refine the design, eventually leading to the MR-88, a model they would eventually produce entirely within France. Meanwhile, back in the good old US of A, Ruger took a slightly different path. They definitely built upon the core design principles of the Security 6, but they scaled everything up significantly. Their goal was a revolver that could stand up to even harder, more abusive use with the potent .357 Magnum cartridge. The GP100 was the triumphant end result, proudly retaining Ruger's distinctive investment casting approach. This innovative manufacturing process allowed for a remarkably thick, heavier frame without sending production costs through the roof. Interestingly, despite their shared ancestry, the Manurian MR-88 and the GP100 evolved into quite distinct firearms. The French version maintained a frame that felt more akin to the Security 6 in hand, while the GP100 truly bulked up, adding more steel to endure a constant pounding. Both, however, serve as fantastic examples of just how incredibly flexible and adaptable the original Security 6 design truly was. There was clearly ample room for refinement, whether the need was for a supremely tough service revolver for police units overseas or an unapologetically overbuilt .357 designed to shrug off thousands of hot rounds in the demanding American market. Now, a lot of shooters hear triple locking cylinder in reference to the GP100 and might initially dismiss it as nothing more than clever marketing jargon. But let me tell you, it is a genuine significant advantage that absolutely ensures the cylinder stays precisely where it should be, even when you're unleashing those scorching full house loads. Ruger had actually experimented with a front crane lock on their earlier Red Hawk model, and they brilliantly incorporated a similar concept into the GP100. By locking the cylinder at the front, the rear, and the bottom of the frame, the design maintains impeccable alignment, which is absolutely critical when you're firing powerful rounds, like the .357 Magnum. Some folks might fret over a tiny bit of wiggle in the cylinder once it locks up, but honestly, that slight play is completely normal and by design. While older Colt double actions famously locked up as tight as a bank vault, Ruger employs a different philosophy, where the forcing cone actually helps guide each bullet perfectly into the bore. A small amount of movement can actually be beneficial, because it beautifully compensates for any minuscule variations in chamber and bore alignment. And here's a key point. When the trigger is held back, the cylinder on a GP100 doesn't magically lock any tighter, so there's no need to compare it to older models that operated on a different system entirely. Ruger's pioneering triple lock approach wasn't just a one-off, it was carried forward into other legendary guns, like the GP101 and the Super Red Hawk. Time and again, it has unequivocally proven that locking the cylinder in multiple places effectively prevents the kind of wear and tear that can plague lesser designs after extensive shooting. The GP100 is celebrated for its ability to run strong, even with a steady diet of Magnum loads, and this ingenious cylinder locking system is undeniably a huge piece of that puzzle. The Ruger GP100 was forged with one paramount goal in mind: unyielding durability. And one of its most significant strengths, both literally and metaphorically, is its rock-solid, one-piece frame completely devoid of a side plate. Unlike many Smith & Wesson revolvers, which rely on a removable side plate to access their intricate internal mechanisms, the GP100's frame is a single, unbroken block of steel. This deliberate design choice makes the revolver incredibly robust. effectively eliminating a potential weak point where flexing or even frame failure could occur under the stress of heavy use. Ruger wasn't shy about touting this advantage. They even famously ran an advertisement directly comparing their full-frame GP100 to the thinner-framed Smith Wesson, making a direct and bold statement about the structural superiority of their investment cast design. Of course, you can bet Smith & Wesson wasn't going to let that pass unchallenged. Their witty response? A cheeky print ad featuring a comically oversized, undeniably thick hamburger patty, clearly taking a playful jab at Ruger's bulkier design philosophy. Their tagline, "Thicker doesn't mean better or stronger. It just means bulkier." They smartly argued that their forged steel frames were every bit as strong as Ruger's, if not more so, without the added weight and visual bulk. Another fantastic benefit of this solid frame design is how the entire trigger assembly can be effortlessly popped out in one complete unit. This grants incredibly easy access when you want to meticulously clean or even swap out parts. While Smith & Wesson revolvers may possess timeless lines and exquisite polished finishes, there's simply no denying that the GP100 was built for the rough and tumble. Some shooters might prefer the lighter, more agile feel of a 686, while others absolutely adore the GP100's tank-like qualities. Either way, it's genuinely hard to find a more reliable .357 Magnum revolver than a GP100 that hasn't been deliberately abused. When it came to designing the GP100, Ruger came up with a genuinely clever idea: a grip peg instead of a traditional, fixed grip frame. This innovative approach makes it incredibly simple to experiment with and switch out different grip sizes and shapes, meaning whether you have smaller hands or gigantic paws, you can find a comfortable fit with absolutely no fuss. While Smith & Wesson's standard frames certainly offer options too, they're generally more constrained by the underlying shape of the metal itself. Ruger's peg, on the other hand, is essentially a single versatile anchor point, which means you can attach everything from super compact rubber grips to massive target stocks. This design also significantly boosts the revolver's structural integrity because it allows for more solid steel in the frame, exactly where it matters most. Ruger has a long-standing history of building firearms that can withstand the relentless pounding of Magnum cartridges, and this modular grip peg fits perfectly into that rugged ethos. What you get is a revolver that's practically bomb-proof, yet you can still customize it to feel perfectly comfortable in your hand. That same smart design also streamlines disassembly. The GP100's entire trigger group lifts out as a single unit, which can be far less finicky than dealing with a side plate on a Smith & Wesson. Folks who are meticulous about keeping their guns immaculately clean truly appreciate how straightforward the GP100 can be to maintain. Comfort, customization, and undeniably reliable engineering all come together in a way that truly sets the GP100 apart from many of its direct competitors. Now, don't pigeonhole the GP100 as just a .357 Magnum workhorse. Ruger has actually chambered it in an impressive array of calibers, including the .327 Federal Magnum, 10mm Autobot 44, Special, and even the versatile .2 LR. This kind of variety often takes people by surprise, especially those who only think of it strictly as a .357 platform. For instance, the .327 model can hold 7 rounds, giving you an extra shot compared to the standard 6. A nice bonus for those who prefer smaller calibers but still want a decent punch. The 44 Special version, a 5-shooter, maintains a manageable size while delivering a much bigger bore. And if you're into plinking or teaching new shooters, the .22 LR variant boasts a 10-round cylinder, perfect for minimal recoil fun. The 10mm GP100 is particularly interesting, as it ingeniously uses moon clips to handle a rimless cartridge, typically associated with semi-auto pistols. Some shooters really appreciate this setup, especially if they already own a 10mm auto pistol and want a matching revolver. What's truly remarkable is that all these different versions consistently maintain the fundamental design strengths: that make the GP100 so widely respected. The frame's basic shape remains unchanged, and the robust cylinder locking system is identical across the board. Ruger simply recognized an opportunity to offer a remarkably versatile revolver that could effortlessly fill multiple roles. Whether someone desires a high-capacity rimfire, a flexible .327 for various .32 caliber loads, or the heavy-hitting .44 Special, you honestly won't find many other revolver platforms out there that can boast this level of exceptional flexibility. Fans of Smith & Wesson and Colt often wax poetic about the sleek, almost artistic lines of a Model 686 or the iconic Python. The GP100, on the other hand, possesses a much bulkier, more utilitarian outline that consistently sparks lively debate among enthusiasts. Some view it as the ultimate tough-as-nails tool, a revolver that looks exactly like what it is, an incredibly rugged, no-nonsense firearm that simply refuses to quit. Others, however, believe it lacks the refined grace found in older, more classic designs, even going so far as to suggest certain Taurus models mimic those traditional shapes more closely. The substantial mass behind the cylinder and that notably chunky underlug can, for some shooters, be a bit of a visual stumbling block. Ruger did intentionally carry over certain visual cues from the Security 6, and while that consistency definitely appeals to the GP100 loyalists, it doesn't always win over the wider audience. Even the original rubber grips with their distinctive wood inserts tend to elicit mixed opinions. Some shooters laud them for being incredibly comfortable and excellent at soaking up recoil, while others find them less aesthetically elegant than the classic wood grips favored by Colt or Smith & Wesson. Let's be clear, Ruger never intended the GP100 to be a polished showpiece. It was engineered from the ground up for unparalleled longevity and unwavering reliability. Interestingly, many have actually grown to appreciate its distinct aesthetics over time, describing it as a revolver that proudly wears its durability on its sleeve. Still, others remain decidedly unimpressed. But here's the best part. The GP100 stands firmly on its remarkable performance record, so it genuinely doesn't matter one bit if some folks call it blocky. In the end, when you're sending a constant stream of hot rounds downrange, function very often triumphs gloriously over mere form. While semi-automatic pistols have now become the standard issue for most police forces worldwide, the GP100 has continued to serve with distinction in highly specialized units that absolutely demand uncompromising reliability. For instance, the elite Greek EKAM counter-terrorist unit has been known to utilize it, a powerful testament to their confidence in a design that simply won't jam or stovepipe, even under the most extreme conditions. The Serbian Special Anti-Terrorist Unit has also been associated with this robust revolver. These teams operate in incredibly high-risk scenarios, making a revolver that reliably goes bang every single time an invaluable asset. In Canada, some local law enforcement departments continued to issue the GP100 long after other agencies had fully transitioned to semi-automatics. The sheer stopping power of the big .357, or even powerful .38+P loads provided officers with a reassuring level of authority. Notably, a specific variant, the GPNY model, was produced exclusively for the New York Police Department. This version featured a double-action only trigger, specifically designed to meet stringent NYPD requirements. This unique variation offered the same legendary rugged construction as the standard model but eliminated single-action cocking, ensuring a consistent trigger pull on every shot. The irrefutable fact that even some of the most elite and specialized units globally continue to trust the GP100 speaks volumes about its unwavering performance. While it might not match the capacity of a modern high-capacity pistol, it more than compensates for that with its inherent simplicity and the kind of rock-solid reliability that professionals need when any malfunction is simply not an option. It's a design that has profoundly proven its worth in the crucible of the real world, not just on the shooting range. And that, my friends, brings us to the end of this deep dive. The Ruger GP100 isn't just a run-of-the-mill workhorse. It truly is a battle tank in revolver form. It's a design that evolved from the sturdy Security 6, introduced a game-changing triple locking cylinder for unparalleled durability, and boldly did away with the side plate in favor of a stronger, one-piece frame. Its innovative grip peg system gives it a truly unique advantage over many competitors, and its surprising range of chambering options makes it far more versatile than most people realize. Even elite police units have placed their trust in it when lives are on the line. But what do you think? Did we miss anything? Do you know any fascinating GP100 factoids that you believe absolutely should have made our list? Please, spill the beans and let us know in the comments section below. And while you're down there, please do us a huge favor. Hit that like button, share this video with your fellow firearm enthusiasts, and of course subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Oh, and don't forget to click that notification bell icon so you never miss out on our next video. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll catch you in the next one.